This cinematic color grading was done using Photoshop. Let's see if we can get the same results using Lightroom. I'm also going to show you how I did it in Photoshop. Now this is the image in Lightroom, and I'm just going to put this other image right here. I'm going to drag this image right here as reference. Now the image at the left is for reference, while this image at the right is the image we are going to be working on. Now the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to come to my temperature and bring it all the way down to the blue side. Let's use -4. And also for the tint, I'm going to take it all the way down to let's say -61. I feel like this image right here is looking more brighter than this one right here, so I'm going to bring down the exposure a little bit. So I'll take the exposure to let's say 0.5, 53 like this. Okay, so I'm just trying to make a reference, so I feel it's okay like this. So next thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to be working on the colors of the highlights and the colors of the shadows. And to do that, I'm going to come down to my toon curve right here. So this is the toon curve. I'm just going to open it. And once I open my toon curves, I'll come to this first place right here, which is the global adjustment. And I'm just going to add a bit of contrast to this image. So I'll put one point on the shadow area. I'll put one on the midtones. And I'll put another one on the highlight area like this. And one for the highlight, I'm just going to drag it up a little bit like this for the highlights. After that, next thing I'm going to do, I'll come to the reds right here. I'm going to click on the reds and just add 3 dots as well. So I'll put one on the shadow, I'll put one on the midtones as well, and I'll put one on the highlight area like this, and just make sure they are straight. And after that, I'm just going to come to the shadow part and just add a little bit of reds to the shadows. So I'm going to take it up a little bit like this. And for the midtones, I'm going to take it up a little bit as well, just a little bit. And for this edge right here, I'm just going to take it down just a little bit like this. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come to the greens. And for the greens, I want to work on the shadows, so I want to add a little bit of greens to the shadow area. So I'm going to come to the shadow area and just move this part inside like this a little bit, and just take it up a little bit like this. Okay, like this works for the green. So this is the only thing I'm going to do for the green. And I'll come to the blues. I'm going to click on the blue. So for the blues, I want to add blues to the shadows. So I'm going to add 3-pointer. I'm just going to move this first one up a little bit like this. For the shadow area, since I want to add a little of blues to the shadow, I'll move this place inside a little bit. Then I'll put a pointer right here and another pointer right here at the midtones, because I want to add a little bit of yellows to the midtones as well. So for this pointer right here, I'm just going to move it up a little bit because I want to add just a little bit of blues to the shadows. So I'm going to take it up a little bit like this. So I like it like this. And also for the midtones, since I want to add a bit of yellows to the midtones, I'm going to take it down a little bit for the midtones. So like this works for the midtones. So that's that for my toon curve. So after the toon curves, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come to my color grading. So I come to my color grading, and for the color grading, I want to add some colors to the shadow area, some colors to the highlights, and some colors to the midtones. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to come to the shadow right here, and I'm just going to add a little cyan to the shadow area like this, and just play with the saturation. So if I take this slider all the way up, I'm making it more saturated, and if I take it all the way down, I'm making it less saturated. So I'm going to look for that sweet spot. So I think 45 work for me, or 46. I'm going to leave it like this. That's for the shadows. And also I'll come to the midtones, and for the midtones, I'm going to add a little bit of oranges to the midtones. So I'm going to move my slider right here for the midtones. I like it like this. And right now I'm just going to play with the saturation. Remember, if I take it all the way up, I'm making it more saturated, and if I take it all the way down, I'm making it less saturated. So I think it's okay like this. I'm just going to move this one towards the yellow side a little bit like this. Alright, now next thing I'm going to do, I'll come to my highlights right here. For the highlights, I'm going to add a little bit of yellows to the highlights. So I'm going to move it towards the yellow side like this. So I'll take saturation all the way down a little bit like this. And also I'll come to my global. And for the global, any adjustment I make for this global is going to affect the whole image. So I'm going to add a little bit of greens to the overall image. So I like it like this. So I'm going to play with the saturation and just reduce the saturation a little bit. I'm going to take it all the way down like this to reduce saturation. So like this works for me. Alright, now next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come to my HS cell right here and just make a few adjustments. So I'll come to the hue first of all. I'm going to work on the oranges and the yellows, and maybe the aqua and the blues as well. So for the oranges, I'm just going to play with the saturation and just maybe take it all the way up. No, I think I'm going to take the oranges all the way down a little bit. Let's say -18 or 17. Okay, 17 works. Also for the orange, let me take it down. Okay, I think taking it down will work. So I'm going to take it all the way down to, let's say, -50. Okay, 65 works. So for the aqua, I'm going to play with the sliders and see which one works best for this image. So I think taking it down works actually. So I'm going to take it all the way down to -100, or let me just take it to -92. -92 works. And also for the blues, so I'm going to take it all the way to +7. Okay, +7 works for me. And I think I'm going to leave the rest color like that. Let me see the saturation. I think I'm going to leave the saturation like that. I just want to play with the lightness a little bit, because I feel the oranges on this image right here is looking too dark. So I'll come to the lightness and just come to the oranges and just add a little bit of lightness to my oranges. Alright, no, I don't want to add to the oranges. I'll come to the yellows and just add to the yellows a little bit. I think adding to the yellows actually works. I'll say +5 to the yellows. And for the greens at the aqua, I'm just going to reduce the lightness because I feel the green is looking too bright. And the aqua, which is almost like the blues, are looking a little bit too bright as well. So I'll go to my green and just take it down a little bit. Let's say -13. And also for the aqua, I'm going to take it down to -13 as well. You can see we are almost there. Like, we are almost there. Now the last thing I'm going to do for this image, I'm just going to come all the way up to my basic adjustment again and just move this white balance towards the blue side a little bit, just a little bit, tiny bit like this. Okay, and maybe open up the shadow of this image a little bit as well, so like this works. And maybe add a little bit of magentas to the image, just a little bit like this. Alright, so I like it like this. So let me just show you where we started from and where we are. So this is the before and this is the after. So that's how you can actually achieve that cinematic color grading in Lightroom. Now let me show you how I achieve this in Photoshop. So it's pretty simple to achieve it in Photoshop. So after doing your screen touch in Photoshop, all you have to do is just click on Ctrl+Shift+Alt+E, create a stamp visible layer. After you create a stamp visible layer, just come to your filter right here and come to your neural filter. So once your neural filter open, just come to this color transfer right here, click on it and just toggle this thing on right here. Click on it to turn it on. So once you click on it, it's going to turn on. Once you turn it on, just click on custom and click on this folder icon right here. Once you click on it, just change this PNG right here to JPEG and just look for any image that you want to copy a color grading from. So I'm going to use this image right here. So just click on it and just click on use image. Once you click on use image, make sure preserve luminosity is selected. So just click on preserve luminosity like this. Just add color strength and a little bit of saturation like this, and we are good to go. So if I just show you before and after, you can see the before and after in Photoshop. It's pretty easy in Photoshop. So this is the before and this is the after, the before and the after. So this is how you can actually get these results inside of Photoshop, and that is how you can actually do it in Lightroom. So which is better, Lightroom or Photoshop? Let me know in the comment section. I'll see you guys in my next video. Stay creative.